Very much. Two men were arrested this week by the Border Corruption Task Force, including a U.S. Border Patrol agent. Rich Morosi now joins us, a reporter for the LA Times, focusing on border issues. And you're here this morning basically to help us sort through what happened, because we know that the feds were down in this house in San Ysidro. Exactly what happened and what makes this case unique?
Well, on Monday night, they went down to the Imperial Beach Border Patrol station and arrested the agent, Manzano. And a few hours later, they raided his house in search of his father, who they said was an illegal alien himself. Not only illegal alien, but had several deportations and a criminal record. The father was not at the home, although they arrested another illegal alien.
And where is the father at this point? Does
the
FBI know? Nobody knows?
He's at large at this point.
Assuming he probably maybe went back into Mexico? Or
he could have escaped there. At this point, they're looking for him.
Specifically, any other allegations against this agent, Manzano Jr.? The fact that he was working for the Border Patrol raises a whole lot of red flags.
Yeah. He's charged with harboring illegal aliens and lying to a federal agent about it, about his father's whereabouts. What's interesting about this case is his house in San Ysidro was under surveillance for over a year.
Wow.
So in other similar cases like this, they're usually looking into other potential crimes. Possibly they had a smuggling operation going on, and at some point they had to close the investigation, and they went in to arrest him. So there's a lot of unanswered questions at this point, and we should learn more this week, because they're going to reveal the details from the search warrant, what items were seized from the house.
And given what's happening the last couple of years along the U.S.-Mexico border, would this explain why in that neighborhood they had the SWAT teams, and it was such, I mean, full blast, they went in with SWAT teams and everything else just in case?
Yeah, I've been told that in some cases like this, when they know there's a convicted felon in the house, they'll take all precautions. And maybe he was listed as armed and dangerous, who knows. But they knew they were going in for somebody who was a deported felon, who had a criminal record, and maybe he was considered armed and dangerous, so that's why they went in so heavy.
Let's go back to the fact that this guy was a Border Patrol agent. The corruption in Mexico has been well documented, but as far as on our side of the border, how unusual is this, and what's the reaction been from the department?
Well, there's an increasing number of cases where federal agents working on the southwest border have been caught in smuggling schemes. Most recently, here in San Diego sector, they had a Border Patrol agent a few years ago who himself was an illegal immigrant.
So how does that happen? I mean, you would think a federal agency like that?
Yeah, he had falsified his birth certificate, and he had also served in the military, and that's how he got in as Border Patrol agent. But he was on his during patrol out in East County, he was actually helping immigrants cross the border.
Now, I wouldn't ask you to speculate on something like this, but in this particular case, is it a pattern where they try to specifically, they plan ahead, where they say, I'm going to join the Border Patrol and then do this, or is it something that happens after the person is already legitimately within the organization and they get tempted with bribes and whatnot?
Both cases. But what Border Patrol is really concerned with is infiltration, with folks intending to work for whatever smuggling groups in Mexico and signing up for the Border Patrol, getting in and immediately going to work for Mexican organized crime groups.
Which leads me to my next question. What are things like now along the border? Because as you said, the cartels are working to get more people really employed on both sides of the border. So what are things like? Is the violence still as bad as it was? Is it escalating? Is it decreasing?
Well, along the border, the number of assaults against Border Patrol agents has declined in recent years, along with the number of apprehensions. So the level of illegal activity along the border in recent years is down because there's fewer immigrants crossing. That could be because of economic conditions here in this country. The level of violence in general in northern Baja California has also declined recently.
It's funny that this happened this week, because last week the president actually signed the Anti-Border Corruption Act. Would that have prevented this guy from doing what he did?
What that calls for is for folks who are applying for jobs at the Border Patrol to go undergo polygraph examinations. And they say that these polygraph examinations, lie detector tests, would weed out a lot of folks who intend to go into the Border Patrol and be corrupt and do smuggling.
Still a whole lot of work to do, isn't there?
Yeah,
Out in Mexico and here as well. Rich Morosi, we thank you very much. Great articles, as always, in the LA Times. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks for waking up early, too. You're here early, right?
Oh, yeah. Real for me.
We appreciate it. Sally, over to you.
All right.